Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a follow-up to my last video where I made a case that I don't think AGDQ 2018 having their chat in subscribers only mode is that problematic, and it got quite the response. Many of you disagreed with what I said, which I actually thought was pretty cool because it proves we really can have open, respectful, and intelligent discussion on YouTube and Twitch. A lot of people think it's impossible, but we prove otherwise. So I really appreciate that. And many of you brought up some really good points worth addressing, so I just want to respond to those and further clarify or elaborate on my thoughts. Also within the last few days, GDQ organizer CoolMatty has been responding to a bunch of similar comments on Reddit, so I figured I'd show those and talk about his responses as well. So first I should point out that the title of my video, Why I Do Support Games Done Quick in Subscriber Only Mode, was basically a meme title and thumbnail based off Apollo Legends video called Why I Don't Support Games Done Quick. I was originally just going to call the video, AGDQ Chat Apocalypse, let's chat about chat, or something cheesy, or, why I don't disagree with GDQ putting chat in subscriber only mode. But I thought the meme was too good to pass up, so perhaps support was a little too strong of a word to use for my stance on the matter. It kind of implies that I endorse what GDQ is doing, and to be honest, I'm pretty indifferent to it. I'd say more so that I don't really have a problem with what they're doing. I mean, maybe what's most telling is that AGDQ began on Monday night or Sunday night, and the next day Tyler1 returned to Twitch. And when AGDQ started, I didn't even think once to use my Prime subscription on AGDQ. Tyler1 returned and I immediately subscribed for those sweet reformed emotes. So support was maybe the wrong word to use in the title, but I had to meme it up, and that's the price of memes, I suppose. Another thing is that, while I did say it's $5, it's going to charity, most would say it's a good cause. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to charities. I really don't donate much to them at all. I've personally only ever donated my time and presence at the event, a handful of volunteer hosting shifts, and $1.12 at AGDQ 2014 at the after stream, which I regretted immediately, to be honest, because I was memeing up Lockwood's Streets 112 video in the donation, and Naglaria only read about half of it. I was pretty upset. And I didn't intend to make the last video seem like I was saying, go pay the $5 pleb because it's a charity event and you should support it. Rather, I want to say that I think it's silly to feel entitled to participate in a charity event without actually supporting the charity. I don't complain that I can't waltz into a UNICEF fundraising dinner gala or play in a local charity golf tournament without having paid a hefty fee that goes towards the cause. Pimpo on my last video makes a point though that unlike a concert or gala dinner or a golf tournament, the GDQ chat comes at no extra cost for the event. It operated perfectly well for the past 7 years, he claims, and it doesn't have the capacity to do anything but meme. Also pointing out that having to pay $4.99 elsewhere to post comments on Twitter or YouTube would be pretty enraging, and we'd all agree it is. I don't entirely agree with this point. I think it'd be more comparable to having to pay $4.99 to follow a specific charitable Twitter feed, or to pay $4.99 to watch a certain video on YouTube, which they already kind of do with YouTube Red. But I do understand his sentiment, and while I agree that GDQ chat comes at no extra cost for the event, perhaps the organizers would say that moderation is necessary and does cost money by having to staff people to moderate, and it does have potential to do more than just meme. We'll get into that all in a moment. A lot of people echo the thoughts that, it used to be free, it feels bad, man, that we have to pay now. I completely understand. Precedent is a very powerful thing. Zamuz on Reddit writes, problem is not the cost, problem is that it used to be free, and now it feels dumb to pay to chat. Donating to charity should be something that you do from your heart, not something you do to unlock the ability to chat. Dumb, I say. I think that's a pretty reasonable response. CoolMatty, though, answers, well, that's not why it was implemented. It was implemented out of necessity, as the moderation tools available are not sufficient. Bot filters and a massive mod team wasn't even enough. Zamuz, how was it not enough when it worked very well the previous years? I don't understand at all what the problem was with chat in the first place. If you get offended by something in Twitch chat, you should just not run it all and delete yourself from the internet. CoolMatty, we're representing charities directly, we have a responsibility to them. The content might have been acceptable to you, but it isn't for a charity event. Not to mention there's some seriously problematic chats sometimes, terroristic threats, for instance. The sub-criticism was fully expected. It's not our first choice. We've tried alternatives for multiple events, but this was the result. Not only does it matter to charities and the general public who work with these charities, it's also wrong. Twitch will absolutely hold you responsible for your chat if you do not moderate it to the terms of service requirements. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to say is, I really don't like how whenever you want to get an answer to GDQ. It's been this way for years too. It seems like they only ever respond to accusations or controversy in small blurbs on Reddit. You know, the old adage, the fastest way to get an answer on the internet is to post the wrong answer. I just wish they put out more official statements on their website or Twitter, or maybe just an alternative PR Twitter or whatever it is, to really paint a clear picture. But it is what it is. That's where CoolMatty likes to respond. We can see that he claims that moderating the chat is a necessity to represent the charity professionally, that a free chat can be seriously problematic at times, and they do have to mitigate some pretty severe threats, and they have to avoid getting banned altogether, like we've seen happen to the GDQ poverty chat. So it is possible if you have people in there spamming all sorts of garbage, all sorts of unsavory comments, they can get banned. CoolMatty also says that PCF hasn't really exerted any control of GDQ. I'm still not sure why anyone thinks this. We keep it clean because it's the right thing to do for charity. If anything, Doctors Without Borders is more strict. So this tries to debunk the notion that PCF executives are calling the shots about chat and other cleanliness of the stream, and puts the onus on GDQ doing this because they feel it's the right thing to do. No, I don't think we can go any further without addressing the elephant in the room. A lot of people believe that really GDQ only started trying to moderate and sanitize the chat in the event to protect a certain minority group. In the original script for my previous video, I actually had a whole bunch of stuff written about Proto and the Dan Sexy emote controversy from last AGDQ. I scrapped it because it's just too contentious to talk about, but we can't skirt around it for any longer. So here's a comment summing up these thoughts. JB Fit on my last video says, "The reason people are pissed because it's in sub-only mode to protect their overly sensitive trans crap. Everyone knows it, and they started censoring stuff last year because Proto didn't like some of the memes being spammed, so they took to Twitter and got it banned. This is censorship because of feelings. The sub chat is just going to hurt their bottom line because a ton less people are going to watch. The chat involvement is what most people enjoy and drives big donations. This is just a very bad idea done to appease a small community." Now, while hurting this bottom line is certainly debatable, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. This seems to be a thought that a lot of GDQ viewers share. I've even seen very left-leaning, liberal-minded people say that it feels like there's some sort of political agenda being pushed at GDQ, and it's being thrust to the forefront for political capital or the sake of diversity or whatever it may be. The viewer count this year is definitely lower. I watched most of ZFG's Ocarina of Time 100% run last night, right during prime Twitch viewing hours, and it was stable around 130,000 viewers. Whereas usually in the past event, you would see spikes at this sort of run go into the high 100s, low 200,000 viewers. So I agree it might be hurting the overall viewership, but it doesn't look like it's hurting their pocketbooks in terms of the donations. Now, the Swag Patrol on Reddit posted this thread, a solution for sub-only chat versus public chat, where he suggests that whoever is speedrunning at the time should make the call on whether they want sub-only chat or free chat. Which, if the premise that subs-only chat was put in to protect certain people appearing on screen is correct, this seems like a good enough solution. But CoolMatty to this responded, "We don't use sub-only mode for runners specifically. We do it because we've exhausted all other means of moderation. The charities also play a big factor here. No charity wants to be associated with the sorts of awful threats and hate speech that managed to get multiple hosting channels banned for Twitch terms of service violations." So Matty says that PCF itself doesn't exert control over GDQ, however the chat is heavily sanitized and moderated for the sake of charity, because what charity would want to be involved in your typical Twitch chat, stream memes, and nonsense? And I do get it, I understand why they don't want people posting your typical, do you know the way, big Twitch stream memes in chat. I get that charities have this reputation to uphold, certainly, and any kind of controversy can be a huge problem. But something worth considering is that there are plenty of people who have these typical edgy, unsavory Twitch chat memes who do have sponsorships and professional agreements. Guys like Forsen and Destiny immediately come to mind as streamers who have sponsors, but whose typical content definitely wouldn't jive with the current AGDQ climate. So obviously there are some companies out there who are fine with Twitch culture, but are there any charities who are fine with it? And there is a difference between charities and companies. According to Matty, PCF themselves haven't exerted any influence on GDQ, but clearly GDQ is influenced by their position as a huge charity event on Twitch to act a certain way. Alright, so now you can ask yourself, does GDQ take it too far? I think pretty much everyone agreed that yes, they do. Here's someone who commented that they got permanently banned for saying, "I self-identify as a nerd." If that's the policing being done on chat, especially to someone who paid $4.99 to subscribe, I'm sure there's tons more examples of people getting banned for similarly mild comments. We can agree that's too far. Let me know if you've actually been banned from GDQ chat and what you said to get banned. I'm sure there are some really, really questionable bans in the name of this moderation, and I'm curious to see some. Also the way it feels like the plebs are getting treated and shat on with absolutely no respect does feel bad, man. Perhaps best embodied by this clip, a $1,000 donation asking to free the plebs.
And I have a big $1,000 donation from Nifsta saying, love watching AGDQ. For a great cause, thanks to all the runners, viewers, and everyone involved in making this such an awesome event. Put this money towards freeing the plebs. I don't think so.
But what it comes down to is this. I think every business or organization or charity should be able to act however they want and do whatever they want when it comes to their association and branding. And they don't owe you as an individual anything. If a certain bakery doesn't want to bake a wedding cake for a certain group of people, or if a convenience store owner doesn't want a certain group of degenerate teenagers in his store, or if I just want to ban you from my Twitch chat because I don't like you, I think that's all fine. It's entirely a business decision, and you as an individual can choose to go to any other bakery or convenience store depending on how you feel about it. My pal Jack wrote in Discord, it's up to GDQ what they want to do. I tend to side with businesses in that they should be allowed to discriminate however they want. Is it the best decision for their brand? I don't know. Frankly, I'm not all that concerned. Now, one key difference is that you could argue that GDQ has a monopoly on speedrunning events on Twitch, which is realistically true. ESA and NASA marathons don't get anywhere near the same views or exposure or support from Twitch itself. And so, unlike the bakery or convenience store down the street, supporting another speedrunning event has no effect on GDQ's business. And until the day that does, GDQ can run free and do as they please, and based on donation numbers so far, they're no worse for wear from it. So I hope that clarifies where I stand on the matter. As far as I'm concerned, GDQ can do and act however it pleases and live with the consequences. If there are any for it, which aside from maybe lower viewer count, it doesn't really seem like there are. And I think that any company or business or charity should be able to do the same. Sure, I can understand that people are upset that it isn't as good as it was in 2013, and it seems like every year public opinion is that it gets worse and worse, aside from a few shill threads on Reddit. But hey, as a true pleb who didn't pay the $4.99, what can we do about it? I didn't intend my last video to be an endorsement saying, hey pleb, go donate the $5 and don't question anything, rather that any business or organization can act how they see fit. And as a pleb who isn't paying to consume their product, what onus do they have to listen to us? I think it's really silly to expect any service or offering from a charitable organization, whether you support that charity or not, without having contributed to that cause. I'd also recommend checking out CoolMatty's posts on Reddit, which you can find at reddit.com/u/CoolMatty. Really seems like the only place to get this first-hand information from a GDQ staff source, and he's still actively replying to various posts there, so there are always new statements to look at and consider. Anyways, guys, that's all. AGDQ is pretty much over now, so I'll be getting back to my usual speed game focused content. Like I said, I've been working on a video about Mirrod's appearance at AGDQ 2013 and his subsequent exile from the community, and about the recent evidence suggesting that Link to the Past legend Crystal faked everything. Plus, we're already halfway through January, so Speedlore Season 2 is going to be coming up on us. Subscribe if you want to see any of that. Stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.